Welcome to this special edition of the Ultimate Combat Experience. I'm Mike Stidham, and joined tonight by Dr. Sick Brian Yamasaki. Now, if you haven't been around UCE for any length of time, Brian, you've been around this show about as long as I have. Talk to me. Who are you, man?
I'm nobody. I'm a huge fan of the UCE, and I'm very honored to be here and have a chance to comment on the fights tonight. Well,
I'm a huge fan of this guy. First of all, it's the first guy I've ever done the show with that I'm taller than. But secondly, man, this guy has more knowledge than just about anybody, and we're going to count on that to break down some matchups that we got between hybrid martial arts and the Will Bernalis crew. But your main event, Oliver Bradstreet going up against Little E Emanual. This kid is a good-looking kid.
You know what? It's another contrast of styles, wrestler versus Jiu Jitsu guy. A really great fight coming up tonight.
A really good show in store for you tonight. It's the Ultimate Combat Experience coming right at you.
8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. The Ultimate Combat Experience starts now.
Warriors of the ultimate fight. Get in the ring for the ultimate fight. I say we warriors of the ultimate fight. Get in the ring for the ultimate fight. I say we warriors of the ultimate fight. Get in the ring for the ultimate fight. I say we warriors of the ultimate fight. Get in the ring for the ultimate fight.
In your welterweight division, we got a fight that everybody was anxious to see when we first showed this episode, and due to time, we couldn't. But John Cabrera and Fawcett, what a great matchup this one was.
You know, Cabrera comes out of Fusion MMA, trains, I guess that's one of Justin Ellison's extension gyms, and they're always very disciplined, very well-trained fighters, so it should be a great fight.
But they're going up against the Knuckleheads, man. Fawcett training with the Knucklehead group. Strap yourselves in. This is going to be a great one.
Super lucky to have the Mushin guys here helping us bring the action to you. Brian Yamasaki helping us set the fights up, but Brandon Kaiser in studio here going to help us call the action. It looks like El Matador, John Cabrera, he's ready to rock and roll.
He is ready. Look at him moving around the ring, getting comfortable in there. He's ready to go, Mike.
Looks like he was the bull in the El Matador thing. All right, John Cabrera, 6 foot tall, 170 pounds, training with the Fusion MMA group. These guys out of St. George, really good looking group, but Rockin' Rod Fawcett got a little animosity with that group. Good-looking kid himself.
Yeah, he's not bad looking either, Mike. I'm comfortable enough to say that.
All right, you're a beautiful man yourself. All right, 5'10", 170 is Rockin' Rod Fawcett, and he trains with the Knuckleheads, and that fight name really couldn't be any more appropriate than for this Rockin' Rod Fawcett. You'll see what I'm talking about in just a moment. This kid fights like a knucklehead, man. He gets after it.
How much fight experience does he have, Mike?
He's had a few fights with us, 2 or 3 fights, but I'll tell you, every fight he's been in, it's been knocked down, drag out, balls to the wall from start to finish. And you see right here, he came right out to take the fight to John Cabrera.
Yeah, it doesn't look like Cabrera's, unfamiliar with that type of energy. He's handling it just fine.
Doing a good job. Got double underhooks here and got Fawcett pressed up against the cage. Doing a little dirty boxing inside, throwing using the shoulders and foot stomping and all kinds of fun stuff.
Yeah, battling for position there, looking good so far.
Rod Fawcett's a pretty good wrestler too. He's got great hips, and you see guys that have tried to throw him, and he thwarts it almost every time. And every now and then you'll see him throw a nice little lateral drop or something as well. And I wouldn't be surprised if he's setting something like that up right now.
Yeah, I like the way Cabrera's staying busy in there. He's working his knees. He's really keeping the solid position, keeping him up pressed against the cage like that.
Fawcett, again, both these guys just kind of jockeying for position. We kind of expected that out of this fight here. These two are very well matched, and it was one of the fights when I looked at the lineup for this night. This fight I was really looking forward to because what a great matchup there. See some knees to the legs and some foot stomps here. Again, a lot of this stuff are just little things that, they may not end the fight, but you're certainly going to start to feel those things as the fight goes on.
Yeah, totally. You're going to feel them. Plus, it looks good in the judges' eyes.
Sure does.
They're staying active.
Well, right there is what I was talking about. That just thwarted throw there. It looked like Cabrera initiated the throw, and boy, nice job of Fawcett of countering. But right there, John Cabrera right back up on his feet.
Yeah, these guys have no lack of energy. They're getting right after it, moving forward, pressing against the cage once again here by Cabrera. And as we saw last time, that didn't stop Fawcett from ending up getting the takedown.
It sure did, you know, and Faucett was a little bit hesitant to take this fight. We're fighting in kind of his neck of the woods. He lives down in this area, but he says, I'm really not in the shape that I want to be. I want to try to finish this in the first round if I have to, because if this thing goes later into the rounds, I might not be there for you, man.
So when guys are fighting on their home turf, do you think that helps them, hurts them, or does it depend on the guy?
You know, I think it helps them, but both these guys are fighting on their home turf because John Cabrera is right here from St. George. So when these two fighters came out here, the crowd was pretty vocal for both sides, and there's a lot of tension in the room here because these guys not only support their guy, but they're super passionate about it as well.
So it looks like Fawcett was looking for a glove touch there, and Cabrera didn't oblige. That's, and wow.
Not only did he not oblige, that was
yeah.
a nice counter combination
Comes
there by
out
Cabrera.
swinging.
You know, we talked about this in the last episode about whether that's, you know, sportsmanlike or not to touch gloves or not. I personally think it's part of being a gentleman and making this a sport, not a fist fight. I like touching gloves. I talked to Brian. He doesn't. You know, he says, you know, I don't want to see my guy getting caught as a result. So I see both sides of it. I personally think, you know, this is what separates us from the thugs.
You know, I like the glove touching too. It is scary though, and there is a risk there. So I could see both sides of that as well.
Great exchange to finish up round number one right here. This is going to be a tough round to score. The takedown might have been the difference because so far on their feet it was pretty evenly matched.
Yeah, Cabrera's landed some cleaner shots, it looked like, in the striking department, but Fawcett did score some takedowns and fought well off of the cage. Be interesting to see how it goes.
Yeah, so let's give me an opinion here. We saw round number one. How do you call it?
I'd probably give it to Cabrera for the cleaner shots.
Okay, tough one to call, and you know, that's a very unofficial opinion right there, but Brandon Kaiser, he knows what he's looking at. Round two when we come back. Welcome back to the Ultimate Combat Experience. If you're just joining us, you missed a very, very tightly fought round between Fawcett and John Cabrera. Very, very tough round to score. Brandon Kaiser saw the bout very closely in favor of John Cabrera, however.
Yeah, I agree. I did slightly favor John Cabrera, and there we go with that same takedown you're talking about, Mike.
That was a nice lateral drop, and you know, the reason I say that is I've seen him do this in every fight that he's been in, and you know, John Cabrera clearly is a guy that's got pretty good stance. He's got pretty good hips, and still he's been taken down with that twice.
He's been taken down a couple times with that. Both guys look really composed, both standing in on the ground. It seemed like going into this, Cabrera was maybe the more refined and disciplined fighter, but both guys look really comfortable in the ring.
You know, I think you bring up a good point there. Cabrera may be a little more refined, but Fawcett has that it factor, that just tough edge to him that is kind of an X factor in all the fights that he's been in. And I'm not saying that that John Cabrera is a cupcake, but Fawcett is he's a special kind of rough and tumble kid.
Yeah, both of these guys look very tough. They both look like they've got their skills in check. We're seeing great wrestling takedowns. Now we're seeing some ground game, cage work.
Looked like an attempted arm lock there.
Looked like an arm bar was coming.
Good stuff, both on top and on bottom. You see Fawcett staying very busy. We noticed, you know, kind of both these guys in the clinch were busy from start to finish in round number one, and as you mentioned, that can really play in the judges' scorecards as the fight progresses.
Yeah, it looks like we have some more submission attempts coming from Cabrera on bottom. Both guys doing a great job.
Yeah, the nice thing is you're seeing submission attempts, but that's not really stopping Fawcett from being aggressive on top. He's still throwing shots. He's not trying to, you know, tuck those limbs in and lay and pray. He's actually staying busy on top, which gives that opportunity for Cabrera to go for those attacks.
Yeah, so is that a sign of a lack of experience or respect for the submissions that could be coming, or not? Is he punching through those because he knows what's coming and he knows that's a good way to handle it, or should he be protecting against those? Does Cabrera have the tools to finish the fight from there?
Those are are all those questions that, you know, as a judge, you're asking yourself. And really, you know, what makes it difficult is, as a fighter, you're in that position. You can kind of tell, I'm a little stronger than this guy, or he's a little stronger than me. And that can really, you know, tip the scale whether you want to try to be aggressive on top or maybe a little more reserved.
Yeah, speaking of strength, you know, Cabrera looks to be the fitter of the two, but based on the way the fight is going so far, I would have to suspect that Fawcett's maybe the stronger fighter. He's sort of commanding the position of the fight more.
Right, you know, and Cabrera, while his submission looks like it's you know, relatively decent, it doesn't really seem like it feels like it's threatening Rod Fawcett at all. He doesn't feel like, you know, anything's close to coming on or that he's threatened by that.
Yeah, I'm not seeing anything really close or too dangerous yet. I mean, he knows what he's going for, and the techniques are there. He's just not becoming a huge threat with him yet, and maybe he will as the rounds go on and Fawcett gets more and more tired.
Well, speaking of rounds going on, round number 2 is in the books, and you know, Rod Fawcett looks like he's hanging in there pretty well for a guy who said he was only prepared for at least 1 round in the fight here. It looks like he's going to be able to get into round number 3, and John Cabrera looks like he's doing okay as well.
Yeah, both fighters look like they're pretty fresh, and they'll hopefully give us another great round.
Well, good stuff. This is why we took this one up off the cutting room floor and wanted to air it for you, because this is a great fight and another very tough round to score. Would you give that second round to Rod Fawcett because of the dominance on top?
I probably would give it to Fawcett due to that.
Okay.
And he tried his favorite throw again.
Well, you know what? You go to the well one too many times and you paid for it. And boy, Rod Fawcett sure paid for it right there.
So did he pay for that? Oh, there's an interesting position.
I tell you what.
That's a new one to me.
Well, you know, it's a new one, but that's a knucklehead move. You know, that's what makes Rod Fawcett special, is that he's just kind of a tough kid, and strange things like that can happen when you got a tough kid on bottom. Well,
it's like Cabrera's establishing some more solid top position now. It'll be interesting to see what he does with the top position. I'm excited.
Yeah, you know, and does Fawcett have the submission skills or the ground skills on the bottom? We haven't seen him on bottom yet, and we'll see what he can do. Looks like he's trying to elevate the hips with his feet there, looking for a sweep or something, but he's not quite able to get it.
Yeah, it looks like he's trying to change position, which would be good so far. Cabrera keeping top position.
Top position though, but you'll notice markedly he's different than when Fawcett was on top.
Much
he's not
different,
active.
yeah.
He's kind of buried his head in his chest and kind of hanging out there. Now, you know, you really, again, you got to start second guessing judges. He's on top. Does he feel like that takedown was enough to win him the round, or do you feel like he needs to maybe improve his position, do something more to try to win this fight?
I think Cabrera, you know, this is a close fight, and it could go either way if it ends up in the judge's hands. So I think Cabrera, the pressure's on him right now. He's got to take advantage of this being on top, make a move, pass the guard, and start showing his top game. They ended up on the ground due to a failed takedown attempt by Fawcett. So, you know, I think that Cabrera's got to make his move now and start passing that guard.
Interesting. This is very good stuff, and I really appreciate Brandon breaking this stuff down. Brandon, you've been in this game just a little while yourself. You know a little bit about this stuff. What would you be telling your fighter if he's on top or if he's on bottom? What would you be coaching him?
Get those arms off of your head. Get that overhook off. Get your posture up and either strike or pass the guard.
Right there, a couple.
And you know, there you go.
Couple pretty good strikes right there, but it looked like Cabrera said, hey man, let's get back up on our feet where I've got a little bit of a reach advantage and maybe I can score some points up top.
Well, and I think that's where he was doing the best in round 1. It's good to see him get the fight back standing.
Oh, baby, this is good stuff, and the crowd is going absolutely bonkers here.
Right. Beautiful.
Loving this
that's
stuff.
what we like to see.
Couple uppercuts from both guys that have just missed that could have been fight-ending shots.
Yeah, everything they're throwing has bad intentions on it. I love it.
Without a doubt, man. Good stuff. And, you know, as you mentioned, you know, probably Cabrera won round number 1. More than likely, well, I think Fawcett undoubtedly won round number 2. Round number 3 is pivotal here. And with 10 seconds left, man, can somebody, what do they got to do? Somebody's got to win this thing.
Yeah, this is crucial right here, this last 5 seconds. Let's see what they can make happen.
Well, this is as close as it gets, and I don't even want to go out on a limb and try to predict. It's as close as it gets. I wouldn't want to be a judge, but, you know, you can't complain about a decision that went either way in a fight like this because, you know, it really depends on what angles you were sitting at, what perspective you had, and you know, are you a stand-up guy, are you a ground guy? It looks like we have a unanimous decision, however. And it looks like a matador, man, John Cabrera. I don't think that's a bad decision at all.
No, I agree. I think that could have gone either way, and that was a good decision.
Look at John Cabrera getting a little bit emotional about it here in front of his hometown crowd. That's cool to see. Celerity Investments. If you have a vision, we can assist. Go to investwithcelerity.com to find out how. I've never met a guy with a better attitude than this guy right here. He said, hey man, I came to put on a show. I don't care. It was a great fight and I had a good time.
Well, not bad seems how I only trained a week for this fight. I came here knowing I had a fight. I came to put on a show for you fans here.
And you did, man. Hey, make some noise for this guy because he deserves it. Rod, that was a very impressive performance, man. Talk to me, what's next for you?
Training more.
That's a pretty good idea.
That's for sure.
Okay.
Real quick, I just want to thank my wife, my fans here, my kids. I love you. All of the guys back home I spar with. I want to thank my sponsors, Dr. Morris. I still got all my teeth. I'm good.
I tell you, your dad was making a lot of noise for you over there too. He's a proud papa.
My dad, my mom, all of them guys, man.
All right, very much. Hey, I got to tell you, I want to thank you so much. You did a great job tonight. Thanks for being a part of the show.
Yeah, no problem.
Great Clips is home of the $10 haircut. Also pick up $10 UCE tickets only at participating locations. What a good guy that guy is he just beat, man. But this is a good guy right here too, man. How you feeling, man?
I feel pretty good. Thank you guys for coming out and supporting the sport and stuff into the military, pushing out.
He's got, you know what? I love this guy, man. And it says a lot about him. He wears his heart on his sleeve, and it means a lot to hear you out there making noise for him, right? It meant a lot for these guys, the love they showed you, and you did it for him tonight.
Thank you guys. I want to thank everyone who supported me, all my teammates who beat the crap out of me so I could be able to raise my hand. I want to say a shout out to my daughter, Sammy and Kendall, and my fans, John, Lindsay, and especially my coach, who put in so much time. He sat in the sauna, he lost weight with us, he pushed us, he smacked us around mentally, physically, just so we can be with our hands up. Thank you, God. Thank everybody for coming out. Thank you.
Very, very nice. Great job, man. You can see why we didn't want to leave this one on the cutting room floor. Rod Fawcett comes up short, but he said it better than I could have said it. The fans were the big winners here.
Absolutely. And there again, you get to see what can happen when you get someone with a lot of technique versus someone with a lot of heart and a lot of gusto.
Good stuff. I can't wait to see both these guys come back and do it again. We got more of the Ultimate Combat. Stick around. In your featherweight division, we got a kid that's an independent fighter, Dustin Wilcox, going up against a kid you know a little bit about, the Tooth. Who is this guy?
Over at Bernal's gym, we call him the Pukester. Last time he was in your fight, he was throwing up tamales and horchata and everything else you can imagine for about 2 hours after his fight. So we call him the Pukester, but he trains very, very hard, and he's I actually had some time with him, and it's going to be a great fight.
I was going to tell you, don't eat Mexican before the show, man. Featherweight, no holds barred. Check it out.
We're open. Everybody keeps their lunch down in this one. Dustin Wilcox, we haven't seen this kid in the cage before, but they call him the Wild Man, and he's doing the Wild Man dance right there. Right?
He is doing some kind of Wild Man dance there. It looks like he's trying to loosen up, get ready for the action here.
Either that or he's epileptic, man. I don't know what that was. 5'5", 145 is Dustin Wilcox, and going up against it, look, guy you know a little bit about, the Tooth, Jeremy Sullivan.
Jeremy Sullivan, yep, he's one of our newer guys out there at the Bernal's Institute. He's got all the potential to be a great fighter, though.
Tell you what, not an ounce of fat on this kid. Looks like he's in pretty good shape. 5'8", 145, and about 45 of that is ink.
Yeah, Jeremy's a hard worker. He's definitely fit and in shape. He's training hard for this and tattooed.
And very tattooed. All right, round number one coming your way. Dangerous Dave Selstad, your referee for this contest. He's already yelling at these two. Dave's always mad.
Neither one of them went for the glove touch there. Oh,
the touch of the glove went to the face right there, and a knee to boot.
Knee too.
Boy, that was a solid knee, and it sent Jeremy Sullivan to the ground. And you see right here, Dustin Wilcox on top and going at it.
Yeah, he's getting after him. I think if Jeremy can weather the storm here initially, the fight will maybe turn to his favor because he is training at a really technical school and he's putting his time in to learn his technique, but I don't know if he has the experience to do that yet.
You know, that's the thing, man. You got to weather that storm, though, and it looks like Dustin Wilcox has got a lot of energy. How long can he sustain this level of energy is the big question.
Yeah, that is the question. Right now he shows no signs of slowing down or stopping this onslaught that's happening.
Uh-oh, looks like Jeremy Sullivan gave up his back, and that thing looks like it's on pretty tight.
It's sunk in there.
Oh, there you go. There's a tap. Wow, Dustin Wilcox coming in and getting a big win. He's pretty happy about it.
Yeah, now is Dustin Wilcox, is he a Marine? Is that
I'm not sure. I'm not sure what his background is, but I'll tell you what, he's 1-0. He's got a big win here tonight against a pretty good-looking kid in Jeremy Sullivan. The wild man, Dustin Wilcox, walking away with a big win tonight.
Wow, that was his first fight, huh?
Yep. There is only one place to get all your favorite MMA gear, including UCE merchandise, and that is Against the Fence.
You got a lot of fans out here, Dustin. I got to tell you, skeptics would have said that Sullivan was going to pull the win off tonight, but you proved everybody wrong tonight with your flashy punches and savoir-faire. What do you got to say to your fans out there?
Hey, thanks for coming. It was great. I had a good time. This was my first fight, so one win already. It's awesome. I love it. Thanks to my family for coming out. All my family from the U, they love me. Coming out, training with Hybrid. Freaking Aldo, Stumpy, Jesse, Jordan in the back. Great training, I love it. Thanks a lot.
All right, well, you definitely got a good squad behind you, so you're going to be back in the cage pretty soon. You ain't got a scratch on you. Are you ready for next weekend?
Yeah, I can next weekend. I'm going to be out of...
Oh, come on, Wilcox.
Sorry.
All right, man, look, everybody loves you. You got a big future in this sport. You're the wild man. It's Dustin Wilcox, ladies and gentlemen. Give it up for him.
In the show open, we talked about this matchup between Hybrid Martial Arts and Bernalis Institute. We've got one of those coming up in the lightweight division. Adam Mariano going up against whom?
John McKean. John McKean's a very, very tough fighter. He trains all the time. He's over at Unified Jiu Jitsu, Bernalis Institute. He even comes to the Mushin Gym on the weekends. He's always training. He's been doing it for the last 10 years.
Good-looking kid, but I'm going for Obama. Lightweight, no holds barred. Check it out.
Well, this is my first fight. I'm 0-0. I just want to go in there tomorrow night and just have fun, you know, throw some punches, get on the ground, whatever.
Yeah, this is my first fight. I've been training for about 3 months. I'm ready for it. I'm ready to see what happens, you know. I want to get out there, test myself, see what he's got, and hope to come out on top, you know.
Oh, everything, working stand-up, ground, conditioning, running, lifting weights, whatever, watching TV.
Aldo, I've been training with Court McGee. He's the one that's been jacking me up every week. Jordan Smith, been training some up at Hybrid. They've been running me through the ringer. I really appreciate it, and I think I'm ready.
He seems like a nice guy, you know, but it's just tomorrow night we're going to be throwing punches, you know, see what happens.
Hey, you know what, John McCain, I can't agree with his politics. I think his policies on healthcare and welfare just aren't where they need to be, you know. We just can't keep going with the same thing we've been doing with Bush all these years, and I think we really need to change. So I'm bringing hope to the ring, if nothing else, you know.
Bring a change to the people. Is Adam Mariano. Bring a change.
Well, I'm really excited for this fight, Mike. I have high expectations of John McCain. He's been training a long time, and it sounds like Arellano's training with a really reputable camp and some big names as well.
I'd use all my change in the parking meter outside, but 5'10", 155 is Adam Mariano, and as you mentioned, to train up there with the Hybrid group, those guys have been put out some pretty tough fighters.
Yeah, he dropped some good names in there, guys that are in the game and training good people. And here we've got John McCain. He's looking as fit as ever.
I'll tell you what, it does look like this kid works out round the clock. 5'10", 155, training with the Bernalis Institute of Martial Arts. And Lonnie Faucett, your referee for this contest. It's a touch of the gloves, and we're ready to rock and roll right here. Lightweights are always fun to watch. You were a lightweight, Brandon, back in the day before you got all swolled up. This is a weight class you're familiar with.
Yep, this is a weight class I'm familiar with. I would expect John to take this fight to the ground immediately, and he's throwing punches. His jiu-jitsu's top-notch, so...
Is it, though? Is his ground that good?
His ground is that good, but he looks like he's ready to trade.
Well, you know, he's landed a couple shots in the early going here, but he's taken a couple as well.
Yeah, that's where guys go back to their roots. When you eat a couple shots, that's when you see the real the real nature of the fighter come out. If they're a ground guy, that's when they're going to shoot. If they're a stand-up guy, that's when they're going to put their head down and start throwing bombs back.
Well, I'll tell you what, that was a good-looking shot, though, that McCain took. He dropped his elevation, got in real nice and low, and as consequently wound up on top here. And now jackhammering away at the body of Mariano.
Yeah, he looks like he's sinking in his, well, it looked like he was sinking in a choke there, and now maybe he's just going to,
yeah.
Oh, there he goes.
Yeah, I like what he did is he was patient, you know. He's trying to get that right position. He's a little bit high right here, and you know, I think that's what he's trying to avoid when he hesitated on the choke here. But you know, he still looks like he's in a pretty good spot.
Yeah,
well, maybe I spoke too soon.
Well, and here comes the triangle. He transitioned so well. The guy's jiu-jitsu is just, it's really top notch.
Wow, that was a beautiful transition. That triangle choke, oh man, he had the arm too. That triangle choke is on pretty tight.
He's gonna punch him up a little bit here, it looks like, and Arellano's in a tough spot.
Yeah, he sure is.
I've been in that triangle myself many times. And
well, you see the head of Mariano turning all kinds of shades of purple, and those punches turned into taps real quick.
They did.
All right, John McKean. Now we know this guy's a tough dude. Regardless of his politics, you don't want to find him in a dark alley, that's for sure.
I think John's got a bright future in this sport. As you can tell, he's an athlete, he's fit, he's training with a good camp. And
you know, this is fun stuff, seeing these first-timers come out here and do their thing. And, well, you can see a future in both those guys. Really, I think Arellano's got a bright future as well, but got caught in that triangle choke, and he wasn't getting out of that. John McKean coming away with a big win. Zoats has the most delicious sunflower seeds anywhere. Check out Zoats.com for a complete list of flavors.
The first senator ever to step into the cage, Senator John McCain. Hey, you pulled an armbar off this one. You really showed your stuff out there. You're not just sitting around on Capitol Hill eating caviar and stuff like that, are you?
No, I'm training.
Training hard?
Yeah, training hard, doing the ground. Striking, whatever.
Anyone you want to thank? Anyone you owe this to?
Oh yeah, man, I've had so many people help me get ready for this fight. Pedro Sauer Jiu-Jitsu, Unified, Wilbur Nallis, Lisa Twite. You know, just a ton of people helped me out. So thanks everybody, appreciate it.
All right, hey, where do you go from here? You ready to fight next week?
I don't know about next week.
Oh, come on, man. Everybody wants you to fight. Y'all want to fight next week?
Yeah.
All right.
I don't care.
That was a close one, huh? That was a close one. Okay, hey, so we'll see you next week, right?
Sure, why not?
All right, Senator John McCain. Everyone get up for John McCain, ladies and gentlemen.
McCain, you won the battle, but you're going to lose the war. That was a good fight, though.
It was spectacular. It's always nice to watch guys who put the time in, you know, get a win like that. And congratulations, John. Great job.
You know, and it was a technical victory for him. We got more of the Ultimate Combat. Stick around. In your middleweight division, there's a kid that I've been hearing a lot about, this Isaac Goodrich, man. They say this kid is just tough as nails, but he's going up against a kid that I think you know just a little bit about.
Yeah, Paul Sizemore is someone who's beat me up quite a bit over the years, and you know, it looks to be a really good fight.
Paul Sizemore has beat up a lot of people over the years. This is one I'm really excited about. Middleweight no holds barred, check it out. Well, we say Paul Sizemore has beaten up a lot of people over the years. He hasn't been in a cage yet but one time, but I understand he's a handful to deal with in the gym. They say the same about Havoc, Isaac Goodrich. This kid's obviously a physical specimen, but everybody that knows him says he's just an absolute terror on the streets.
Yeah, if I had to pick which one of these guys I wanted to fight based on how they look, I'd pick Isaac, but Paul Sizemore's been, you know, beating me up for years too, so you can add me to that list. I know how tough he is. It's going to be interesting to see how this one turns out.
You know, look how composed this kid looks for this being his second fight. It looks like he might have been in a scrap or two in his day.
Yeah, you know, Paul Sizemore, we always called him like the bodyguard of the Jiu-Jitsu club, because whenever a big burly guy would come in there and rough everybody up, we'd call Paul Sizemore out, and he's so unassuming.
Yeah, well, you know, the same cannot be said for our referee, Dave Selustad, man. Look at this guy. Those shirts are getting tighter every week.
I don't know if they're shrinking or what. See
like,
right there, Paul Sizemore getting the takedown right off the bat.
Paul wants to get this fight to the ground, and he is in his element right now.
Yeah, well, you know, Goodrich, I think, was a kid that wanted to stand and trade, and, you know, he didn't even get an opportunity to. Paul right away takes this thing to the ground, and looks like he might even have his back, might even have Goodrich's back.
It's like he's sinking in a choke there. He doesn't really have great position yet, but good enough to land a knee to the face.
Well, he doesn't have good position for some people, but I think Paul Sizemore has good position for Paul Sizemore.
Good enough to finish with the choke.
That was a beautiful choke, man. And just like another day at the office, says Paul Sizemore. And for those of you at home that aren't really super astute students of the game, that was a beautiful choke, very well executed. And Goodrich is as baffled as many of you probably are. That thing just went on, it was on fast. All right, Dangerous Dave. Dangerous Dave's going to lift up that great big arm of his and let supersize Paul Sizemore know he's going to go home victorious. He's not even happy about it. Doesn't look like
I know, he's so calm and composed.
I think I'll go home now. Okay. Find top name brand clothing at unspeakable prices at Big Rock Clothing. Mention UCE and save 10%.
Anyway, hey, you got the win out there. Anyone you owe that to other than yourself and me?
Unified Jiu Jitsu, Will Bernal's Institute, and Jim Jones. Thank y'all.
The Reverend Jim Jones?
Yeah.
All right, hey, you coming back soon. You ain't got a scratch on you. Be safe to say we'll see you next week.
I'll be back.
Paul Sizemore's fighting next week, and he's taking all comers, ladies and gentlemen. Give it up for him.
We got a kid coming all the way up from Oklahoma to fight Shy Solomon, and then Shy disappeared on us, man.
Poof. You know, that's his new fight name around the gym. Poof.
Poof.
Disappears.
But fortunately, Patrick Upton willing to step up to the challenge in a lightweight matchup you don't want to miss.
Poof. Shy Solomon, but you know, hey, Patrick Upton ain't gonna poof on you. He says he's gonna be there. He's gonna be there. Now, Daniel Grass came a long way for his fist fight, and and his opponent didn't show up. We had to find him somebody, so we found him Patrick Upton.
Sounds like Patrick Upton's always up for the challenge. I walked into your gym just the other day, and he was asking me if I wanted to fight.
You know, that's funny. Don't walk in the gym when we're looking for fighters at the last minute. It could be to your detriment. Patrick, though, he's not going to beat you up, Brandon. That'd probably be the worst mistake he ever made.
I know, he looks pretty mean to me, Mike.
Yeah, I'm sure. 5'10", 150 out of the Rose Park area. And maybe that's where that confidence comes from. If you can live in the Rose Park area without getting beat up on,
150 pounds. I can't remember the last time I weighed 150 pounds.
Yeah, one of your arms weighs that much now. Well, this is the lightweight division, and here we go. Both these guys in camouflage. Hard to tell who's who. I just see two midsections out there.
That was an interesting takedown attempt. They're going through that initial phase of the fight that always seems to happen, the chaos in the beginning, and already we've got a choke going on.
Is Patrick Upton going to make this a short visit to the cage? He was able to get his head out there, but I thought for a moment this thing might be over fast.
Patrick Upton getting good cage position there.
Yeah, he sure is.
Peeling the face off.
And kabang, kabang, kaboom right here, boy. Nice stuff. Patrick Upton wasting no time to start working that ground and pound, and it doesn't look like Daniel Grass is really super technical on the ground, and he's just happy to take those shots.
Yeah, in a situation like that, Patrick may as well just stay in the guard and keep pounding away. I'm not seeing any threat of any type of submission. Daniel Grass is completely on defense, so.
Well, Daniel Grass said, I'll let you out of my guard now, and you can mount me and hit me.
Heavy shots coming from Patrick Upton.
Beautiful defense there by Daniel Grass. Or not. You know, he gave up his back here, and, you know, you came a long way. You got on that airplane. You had those transfers. You made it here to Salt Lake. You stayed at the gym last night, but now your fight night just might be over.
It's on, but it's not under his chin. Be interesting to see if he taps to this or if he battles his way out of it.
Well, it looks like Patrick making some adjustments here and, you know, kind of slowing things down a little bit. He wanted to end this thing fast, but slowing it down just a little bit, trying to get that choke on correctly. Daniel Grass did do a nice job there of adjusting and turning it to him.
Now we're gonna see Patrick Upton's guard and his game from his back. And already it's looking good so far. He's isolated an arm. He's in there on the triangle.
Certainly not looking good for the kid from Oklahoma. He just got triangled, and you know he's sitting back and trying to battle it out, defend it. But He's got a minute left in this round. It's going to be a long time to be fighting this off.
Yeah, that's on pretty good right there. I don't see him battling out of that.
There's the tappy tap 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 right there. Daniel Grass made it 2 minutes into round number 1 and shaking the hands right there, showing some good sportsmanship between the two of them. Patrick Upton, been a little while since we saw him in the cage, coming back and looking pretty decent tonight. What do you think, Brandon?
He must be still training. He doesn't even look out of breath. And although it was a short fight, that could still take it out of you. He looks really composed.
Well, the action was pretty fast and furious at the start there, so yeah, it could take the wind out of it. It didn't look like it even affected Patrick Upton.
Barely sweating. So I understand Daniel Grass wants to stay and fight another week.
Well, we'll let him stay at the gym all week long and put him in the cage next week if he wants. Celerity Investments. If you have a vision, we can assist. Go to investwithcelerity.com to find out how.
Patrick Upton, my favorite individual, one who doesn't take any mess, and when is ready to take Sal down and try and put him in a knee bar over there. I kind of spoke out of line, Upton. Look, the hostility's gone, dude. You got the victory, man. Time to party, time to relax.
Yeah, I just want to know if the bar will cash my check.
Hey, that sounds like a good idea. Hell yeah, then you gonna buy me a drink?
Yeah, hell yeah.
All right, there you have it. He's gonna buy me a drink. Pretty much signed a contract because we got you on camera, buddy. But seriously though, what'd you do to get ready for this fight?
I've just been training a lot with my friend Lance Gorman and training a lot down at the UCTC. So just working out, training, you know, the usual.
Where are you going from here, man? You didn't even get a mark on you this fight. I know you're ready to go again. I'm about to pull someone out the crowd, have you whoop their ass.
Actually, I have a rematch against Jay Jensen next week, so I'll be back next week.
Jay Jensen and Patrick Upton next week. Patrick, you're a classy individual. We love having you, buddy. Thanks for coming out.
Thanks, man.
Daniel Grass coming up on the short end of the stick. Came all the way from Oklahoma, though. He says, you know what? Let me stay in your gym. Let me live here. Let me sleep here. Let me stay here one more week. I'll come back and vindicate this loss.
You know, I have to admire the guy. Travel all this way, have opponents switched out on him, go in there anyway, put in a game effort, and you know, come up short and just keep training.
He's gonna come back and do this thing again. So tune in next week for this one. Daniel Grass will be back. I hope you'll be back as well. In a show that we've had a lot of great fights on, how do you pick a main event in a show like this? Well, of course, Oliver Bradstreet, that's a key component, but he's fighting a kid, Emanual Chapman, very good-looking submission artist out of Montrose, Colorado.
You know, I'm really looking forward to this fight. Whenever you watch someone like Bradstreet's someone that one of my friends fought, Brandon Kaiser fought him, you always like to see them do well, and I'm really excited to see how this one turns out.
Going up again against a guy that's a submission artist. They say this guy locks everybody, gets his hands on. Featherweight no holds barred, check it out.
I've been training at Extreme Couture with a lot bigger kids, getting my ass handed to me quite a bit. But my conditioning's coming up. I got a few new tricks and looking to expand my game a little.
I mean, Ollie's got a lot of experience, but I'm not deterred at all. He may have a lot where he's came from, but I came from a lot too, and I'm not ready to go back, you know. I hope he came for war because it is on, and I don't know if he claims he's gonna knock me out, but I will submit him.
I'm not really saying much. I got some new tricks that we're gonna pull out. You know.
You're gonna pull them out of your.
I'm gonna totally just give it a good try, and I'm just gonna say that I'm pretty sure the crowd is gonna be on their feet when it's all over, and they'll be damn glad they came.
This is my first professional fight, but in my last fight, I submitted my opponent in 59 seconds. And I do not claim that, you know, it will go the same with Ollie, but I will give it my best try for sure.
It's going knockout, buddy.
It won't happen. Ollie doesn't have knockout power, but good luck anyway.
I predict we're both going to go out and bang. He's probably going to shoot in, try to take me down, and it's going to be a ground war.
The time Ollie knocked anybody out was with his breath.
Well, I'm so excited to do the commentary on this fight. You know, I'd much rather be cage side at a Bradstreet fight than in the cage with him.
You know, how do you think things would go with the two of you now? I mean, you guys fought very early in his career. He's much smaller than you, obviously. I mean, do you think he's gotten any better, or is he the same old Oliver Bradstreet?
I think I would pull guard and gas out in 10 seconds. He would pass my guard, and I'd have my hands full the rest of the night.
Oh, you're the biggest liar, man. Emanual Little League Chapman, though. You know, I got to give this kid a lot of credit. He's had one fight. He's willing to fight Oliver Bradstreet, who's had over 40 fights. My hat goes off to this kid. But again, they say if he gets you in his guard, you're in trouble. He's got a slick guard.
You know, Chapman's got nothing to lose here. Good for him taking the fight. He's fighting a guy with 40 fights. Oliver Bradstreet's expected to win. So if Chapman's able to pull off a submission, you know, good for him. I think he's going to have his hands full doing that. Bradstreet's not an easy person to submit.
No, he certainly isn't. You know, that shot right there looks like a reverse Oreo. The referee's all brown and these two little white guys in the middle, or on the outside. Nice kick there from Chapman. We know him to be a submission guy, and he's coming out kind of threatening Ollie on his feet. And this is what Ollie does. He messes around with you, then he shoots low on the leg. But look at this right here. Chapman almost had his back right there. Almost might have had him in a little bit of trouble.
Yeah, I remember almost having his back and ending up in the exact same scenario. He reached back and pulled me right off.
You know what, though?
Bradstreet landing some big shots there.
The reverse Oreo coming in and imposing his will and standing him back up, not allowing any standing and striking in this fight because of the lack of fights that Chapman has that are going to be fighting under Utah rules, which doesn't allow them to do that.
Do you think that's something that would throw Bradstreet off, or is that?
No, you know, Oliver's not a real big stand and striking kind of guy. He's a guy who likes to take you down and then beat up on you. Look
how strong that kid is.
Yeah.
Jeez.
He is
beautiful takedown.
One thing I give Ollie credit for is that he did suck the weight down to 135. You saw his cheeks all sunken in when he was weighing in there and in the interviews, and he got down to weight.
Yeah, he's a scary, powerful 135. Jeez.
Yeah, he's an honorary little cuss when he has to make weight too, man.
Chapman doing some good things with his guard there.
You know, this is what we heard. We heard this kid's pretty dangerous, and Ollie better be on his game. Ollie likes to ground and pound right here, but if you leave something behind, you just might regret it. But there's the power ball.
Another big slam.
Looks like he slammed his head into the mat just a little bit as well.
I don't think he cares. I think he'd be just fine doing that for the rest of the match.
You're absolutely right, man. Ollie, they call him the menace for a reason because he's just a menace.
Yeah, he's just super scrappy, phenomenal wrestling, and he just keeps going and going and going. As soon as you think you've established a position, he's reaching behind and pulling you right off.
You see right here, you know, Ollie getting position on the guy who's got the ground skills, and this is probably not a position that Emanual Chapman's used to being in.
Yeah, not if he's a solid ground guy. He's probably not spending a lot of time being mounted and having people on his back. And, are we going to see a submission from Bradstreet?
I'll tell you what, Ollie is probably wanting to get out of this fight as quickly as possible. You can tell, we mentioned earlier in the show, that you can tell when you're in somebody's guard if it's dangerous or not, and I think Ollie might have felt that his guard might be a little dangerous. I better try to get this thing over with.
Yeah, he's wasting no time trying to end the fight. And that's what makes him such a threat, you know. He just you're always getting punched. You're always getting positioned.
Yeah, that's how you beat a submission artist, though. Punching him in his face. They don't like that, as a general rule.
What I really like that Bradstreet's doing, that you see at a higher level, is he's punching and positioning at the same time. You know, a lot of these jiu-jitsu guys, well, this might be the end of it.
Yeah, you just kind of saw the quit in Emanuel's face, didn't you?
Yeah,
when he got socked in his face there right a second ago. And he's still gaming it out. He's trying to tough it out, but boy, I don't know how much longer he's going to.
Again, Bradstreet's punching and positioning, transitioning all the time. That's
good stuff.
Wow,
you know,
great stuff.
I'll tell you what, that was a good stoppage there, man. There was less than a second left in the bout, but you saw that Emanual had really kind of quit the fight. And I think that was a great stoppage.
I agree completely. He wasn't going to turn anything around at that point.
You know, as a referee, you've got to treat 2 minutes and 59 seconds just like you do, 5 seconds into the round. And I really think, again, a lot of referees might have been timid in stepping in there, but a very fine job by a referee tonight. The menace, Oliver Bradstreet, making his presence known in the UCE once again. Skull Candy, the official headphones of the UCE. Check out their complete line of headphones and accessories at skullcandy.com. Talk to me, man. What's going on in your head right now?
Well, made a lot of mistakes. That was the biggest thing. And he's a great fighter. He capitalized on him. I can't blame him for that.
I'll tell you what, you were slick out there, man. You got some really good-looking submission Talk to me. Tell me what happened in the fight.
Well, I mean, I think he's far more athletic than I am, and that played a major role in him winning. He's a very explosive fighter, and that's something I need to work on.
Very impressive, though. This is your second fight, I understand, and you're fighting a guy that's had a lot of fights. But to me, I mean, you look like you were on par skill-wise. I mean, give you a little experience, you might be up there, man.
I know. Someday I think I would like to rematch with Ollie, for sure.
Very, very nice. I think we can do that. Great job tonight. Congratulations. Are you Army strong? Find out what it takes to be a soldier in the U.S. Army at GoArmy.com. Not such a mellow dude. Ollie, what's going on, man?
Not much, man.
Talk to me. Tell me what happened out there.
Everything I used to do, I've been told not to, so I feel like I'm starting over. So
that's good, though. I mean, it's what you're going to need to do to get where you want to go, and so it's actually kind of fun to watch that happen.
You can definitely tell I'm changing up a little bit, but I'm starting to feel it. It's coming along. Like I said, it's a total new start for me, and I feel like I'm just starting over, and my career starts from here on.
Very nice, Ollie. I want to tell you, it was great having you up here. We haven't seen you a little bit living down there in Las Vegas, but hope we'll get you back up here again real soon.
Anytime, anytime.
Thanks, man.
I'd like to thank Tyler Ayers Law Firm for helping me out. My friends, my family, all my buddies who came from Salt Lake. All the fans, you guys are awesome. Without you, this is nothing. Thanks, guys.
Thank you very much. Brian, I enjoyed that fight, and I know you did because you like those technical battles, and that was certainly one of those.
Definitely. What a phenomenal fight. I always like to see how someone like Bradstreet will shut down the submissions of someone like Little E.
You know, and he did. You know, he shut him down. He punched him in his face, and that was it, right?
Simple. Simple.
That was it right there. But this is going to put a wrap on the Cutting Room Floor episode, but we're right back to the fisticuffs next week.
Well, thanks a lot for having me out here. I had a great time, and really appreciate you giving me a chance to be on the show.
Well, Brian, I'm going to tell you, first of all, it's an honor and privilege to have you, and this guy is Dr. Sick. He knows a lot about this stuff, so great having you here, and I hope you tune in next week for the Ultimate Combat Experience.